Welcome to Zoo Tours, where I cover the history, details, and of course, the animals of every zoo exhibit I come across. This is episode 2, Forests of Indianapolis. This week I'm back here in the state of Indiana, where we will run into star creatures of wooded areas from 3 different continents. The temperate and rainforests of Asia and South America, along with the familiar woods we see here in America. I'll bring you close enough to stare eye to eye with some of the world's largest predators, and even show off another one of Indianapolis Zoo's newer attractions. The zoo originally opened as the Washington Park Children's Zoo in 1964 and settled on only 20 acres, and in 1979 there was already talks of moving the facility to another location, the White River State Park. In 1987, the original zoo closed, and on June 11, 1988, the current zoo opened. With it being one of the newer facilities in the country, there isn't a whole lot of history behind every corner. Based on one of the zoo's first maps and evidence of these exhibits being old-fashioned, the Forests exhibit has been around since the zoo's new opening. The area has always displayed nearly the same species, and for the most part, the habitats have remained unchanged. We'll begin in what technically isn't part of the forest section, a small rest area known as the Commons. Nearly in the middle of the zoo is a lush exhibit for many active ring-tailed lemurs. On April 2nd of 2017, a female named Bree gave birth to 2 boys, who were later named Quigley and Rooney. This habitat once held the rare blue-eyed black lemur, and according to their first map, it first displayed Gibbons. There also used to be another lemur habitat within the zoo. It was an island surrounded by a large body of water, and the primate shared it with a large tortoise. Today, that area is known as the International Orangutan Center. This is located on the main path, and not too far up ahead is the main entrance to the forests. Even though it features star species, from what I've seen, it appears that this section may be the least popular attraction in the zoo. Your very first stop is the forest's top species, the world's largest cat, the Amur tiger, who in this instance was a no-show, but you'll actually see this cat in a bit. There are a few other ways to look into this exhibit. Immediately next to them is a tree-filled habitat where you'd find a red panda perched. The panda used to not be the only animal you'd find in here. Until somewhat recently, it held a small deer-like species called a moonjack. And as we go around and continue the path, we get a back view of the exhibit. We continue on with the Asia side of the complex, with the zoo's loudest animals, the white-handed gibbon. They were a no-show, but again, you'll see and hear more about them later. There's a reason for the pools, which are now empty, and I'll tell you after our next stop. Back again here is the Tiger Forest exhibit, which received an upgrade in 2011, one of the zoo's few renovated exhibits in its history. Construction touched up on the rockwork, a newer pool, and according to the company that worked on this, they criticized that the original viewing was too restricting and limiting. This is the first habitat, which through time grew to be a fantastic exhibit for tigers. But it isn't the only one in the zoo. Across from this is a much smaller yard that brings you closer to the animals. It is also the site location for their up-close keeper-to-tiger encounters. But even without the presentations, you can see how close they already get to guests. Just one last quick fact, a single cub was born at the zoo on July 10th, 2014, a female that was later named Zoya. Continuing along the path, we run into gibbons once more, a female named Coco and a male named Elliot. In 2015, Coco gave birth to a boy named Kopi, making him the first ever gibbon to be born at the zoo. Around 2010, with the gibbons, also used to live a male green peafowl, but I said there's a reason for the empty pools. Around that same time, the gibbons and the peacock lived with a large family of Asian small-clawed otters. Unfortunately, the otters have since left the zoo. And that does it for the Asia section. And now on to the new attraction, which can also be seen around the zoo if you just look up. This is the magnificent macaws, where you can find 6 colorful macaw species coexisting. You'd find great green, green-winged, scarlet, blue-throated, military, and blue and gold macaws. The outdoor cage you see here is new, but this specific area has always been home to temporary attractions that lasted throughout recent summers. Part of the indoor section remained throughout the renovation. It was home to flying foxes, then koalas, then red-ruffed lemurs, and now colorful parrots. Magnificent Macaws is the newest attraction of the Indianapolis Zoo, but this is far from it. The zoo added a very large and very unusual multi-canopied structure near the entrance. This is the Bicentennial Pavilion. The zoo has 50 macaws divided into 3 flocks. During the summer, 6 times a day, many of these macaws fly over from the plains habitat, all the way to this pavilion for a keeper talk. After that's done, they fly themselves all the way back unassisted. After the summer months are over, the birds are sent to a facility in Florida to continue their flights. That was the new attraction, but I'm taking you to what I consider to be a real show. This old-fashioned exhibit, which opened with the new zoo, is home to 4 Alaskan brown bears. In many cases, when running into bears, you'll most likely see something like this, but not here. This is home to rescued cubs Sitka and Juno, the pair you see here, and another separated rotated adult pair named Kiak and Macaws. These 2 are nearly 3-year-old females who were discovered by the Yellowstone National Park, who found them on the brink of death. They are here at the zoo only temporarily, and will go to the Great Plains Zoo in South Dakota very soon. Luckily, the adults the zoo still have still behave like this as well. Behind them is the last exhibit of the forests, and it is also the world's greatest symbol. If information still holds up, this is Buddy, a rescued bald eagle that came to the zoo in 2008. He was rescued after it was discovered he snapped a bone in one of his wings, permanently damaging his flight. Even though he can't fly, he lives in a tall aviary, which was actually once home to a pair of ravens. I haven't seen an eagle here in my last 2 visits, but if you ever come, hopefully you will. And that does it! Our time through the man-made woods of the Indianapolis Zoo. I hope you enjoyed all that I covered, and I encourage you to come see all of this for yourself. I'm still not quite done covering the zoo, so stay tuned. In the meantime, check out my website in the link below. You can see some of my greatest work, and I offer prints at any request for low prices. And like always, please check out my other zoo tours, and if you'd like to continue with me as your guide, please hit that subscribe button. This is Zachary Handel signing out, and I hope you have a nice day.